It's a new year and a new chance for you to make a fresh start with your compliance. We're going to be bringing you a daily tip, strategy, or idea that you can use to improve your program. Here's your host, Tom Fox, the Compliance Evangelist.
Now, a quick word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back. Day 21, Continuous Improvement in a Compliance Program. The 2020 update was very clear about the need for continuous improvement in any compliance program. It stated quite succinctly, one hallmark of an effective compliance program is its capacity to improve and evolve. The actual implementation of controls and practice will necessarily reveal areas of risk and potential adjustment. A company's business changes over time, as do the environments in which it operates, the nature of its customers, the laws that govern its actions, and the applicable industry standards. Accordingly, prosecutors should consider whether the company is engaged in meaningful efforts to review its compliance program to ensure that it is not stale. The concept was again articulated as a hallmark of an effective compliance program in the 2020 FCPA Resource Guide, which stated, "A good compliance program should constantly evolve. A company's business changes over time, as do the environments in which it operates, the nature of its customers, the laws that govern its actions, and the standards of its industry. In addition, compliance programs do not just exist on paper, but are followed in practice and will inevitably uncover compliance weaknesses and require enhancements. Consequently, DOJ and SEC evaluate whether companies regularly review and improve their compliance programs and do not allow them to become stale. This was further specified in the DOJ's 2020 update to the evaluation of corporate compliance program, which listed 3 types of continuous improvement, each further refined with multiple attendant questions. It added a new area of inquiry to which every compliance practitioner needs to incorporate in their assessment, improvement, and management cycles, i.e. culture. So what are these areas? Internal audit, control testing, evolving updates, and culture of compliance. You should endeavor to keep track of external and internal events which may cause change to your business processes, policies, or procedures. Some examples are new laws applicable to your business organization and international events which drive changes within a company. Continuous improvement requires that you not only audit but also monitor whether employees are staying with the compliance program. Indeed, 2 of the 7 compliance elements in the U.S. Sentencing Guidelines call for companies to monitor, audit, and respond quickly to allegations of misconduct. These 3 activities are key components enforcement officials look for when determining whether companies maintain adequate oversight of their compliance program. One tool that is extremely useful in the continuous improvement cycle, yet is often misused or misunderstood, is ongoing monitoring. This can come from the confusion about the differences between monitoring and auditing. Monitoring is a commitment to reviewing and detecting compliance variances in real time and then reacting quickly to remediate them. A primary goal of monitoring is to identify and address gaps in your compliance program on a regular and consistent basis across a wide spectrum of data and information. An external monitor can be extremely helpful to garner a broader picture of the company's culture rather than simply a self-assessment. Many employees are willing to open up to an independent outsider rather than someone in their own organization. Some of the ways to consider the culture of an organization are employee surveys, conversations, and visit to field operations. Surveys can be an important tool to take the temperature of what's going on in the company, but it is often a wasted opportunity to put into questions that are targeted towards culture and ethical culture of a company. There needs to be a 2-way conversation which is going on, which rather is on an ongoing basis. The 2020 update added specific language around culture, cultural assessment, culture review, and culture remediation. Should a company try and perform a self-assessment of its own culture or bring in a true independent? They are both valid, but each has a different focus. The self-assessment is really more akin to ongoing monitoring. In this scenario, a company has responsibility to monitor its own workforce and culture literally on a day-to-day basis. Ongoing monitoring and oversight is critical to being able to manage what is very normal ebb and flow of culture in an organization. Culture is dependent on people, and people come and go in companies, and that can influence culture. The market and financial stress can influence the culture and what happens. These are things a company should track and monitor. Continuous improvement through continuous monitoring or other similar techniques will help your compliance program keep abreast of any changes in your business model or rather, and allow information on new and updated best practices specified by the regulators. A compliance program is in many ways a continuously evolving organism, just as your company is. You need to build a way to keep pace with both market and regulatory changes to have a truly effective anti-corruption compliance program. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? Number 1, your compliance program must be continually evolving. This is now a standard requirement. Number 2, monitoring and auditing are different, yet they are complementary tools for continuous improvement of any compliance program. 3, a culture assessment and monitoring is now required as well. How are you monitoring the culture of your organization going forward will be a key question the regulators ask. This is Tom Fox again. Thank you for listening to this episode of 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program. I hope you will join me for the entire month of January, where I take a look at some of the significant changes in compliance and FCPA enforcement. 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program is a part of the Compliance Podcast Network.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.